Hello. This is a quick quick video on running a program and timing it from the command line in Linux. So it's an example of using the time command. Just a reminder, equal time equal. That means that time is a command. It is printed in a typewriter font. So it's assumed that you can compile a Java program. We're going to be testing a Java program out here. So compile your command. So what we're going to do to time this is we're going to compile the command and then we're going to run the command. The way you run a command to time it is you just put the word time followed by a space in front of it, assuming you're on a Linux, Unix type machine. So before we run it, I want to take a quick look at the program we're going to be running. So down here, this is Hello World, the traditional first program. I mean, this is the sort of program that you'd expect it to be. Excuse me. Except that it's got something weird in it. And that weird thing is right in the line that's highlighted there. We're going to ignore that line for a second. If we look at what the program does around that line, it uses a formatted print to print out the string hello. Then it uses afterwards a formatted print to print out the string comma space world. And then within the format string, it prints a /n, starts a new line. So I used printf instead of print line, just to show a different way of using generating output in Java. So what does this thread sleep 750 do? Well, the comment says that it causes it to sleep or give up processing for 750 milliseconds, 3/4 of a second. I could spell that right too. I even could. I know how. Okay, so 750 milliseconds. So it gives up for 3/4 of a second, it gives up the CPU. So what we expect to see is that it runs and takes about 3/4 of a second between printing the word hello and printing the comma and world afterwards. So let's see if this is what actually happens. So now we're looking at the so this is a prompt in the same place. So I want to compile my my program. Hello World Java. So it compiles the program. Now I want to run that program. So I'm going to go ahead and run it without the time command right now because I just want to see it run and hopefully it does what I said it's going to do. And you'll notice that it paused before it printed that comma. You had a moment there where it paused. Actually, you had 3/4 of a second. So let's go ahead and see how time works. When I run time, I go ahead and I get the same pause in the middle of running the program, so the program ran, but I also get some output, and this output tells me several things. It tells me how much real time went by. So real time, that is the wall clock time between my hitting enter basically and it terminating. So this is the total run time of the program. This is the amount of time that the process running the program, user, is the amount of time the process spent in user space using the CPU. And this is how much time was used in the operating system on behalf of the running program. Okay. I am happy to see that with 3/4 of a second of pause in the middle of the program, it ran in about 85% of a second, 0.85 seconds, somewhere in that range. That makes some sense that it took a little longer. I just want to double check that this makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove the 750. I'm going to go ahead and leave the call to sleep in there because I'm timing something. I don't want to screw things up too badly. I don't want to change too many things at once. But I'm going to change how long it thinks it's sleeping. And I have to recompile, right? And then I have to, if I ran it, it would run almost instantly, right? Boom, it ran instantly. And if I time it, I get a much shorter time frame, right? I get 0.87 seconds as opposed to, 0.087 seconds, there we go, as opposed to 8:55. Okay. Now, question. How is it possible that this program used an amount of user time greater than the amount of wall clock time that elapsed? I will tell you that I am running on a modern laptop which has pretty good specs. And I'm going to leave it to you to think about. Now, before we leave, Remember, what we talked about was using the time command to time a running command. How do you do that? You go to the command line, you type the word time in front of whatever command you want to time, you want to get time back from, and the 3 lines you get back from the time command are the wall clock time, the user time, that's CPU running as user for within the process, and then system time. Thank you very much.